Welcome to the Seize the Day weekly podcast, your connection to all things cruising, powered by Travel with Brigitte.
It's one of the greatest ways to pay a budget price on a fabulous cruise, and most people don't even know about it. On today's episode of the Seize the Day podcast, Travel with Brigitte travel agents Carla and Janice, who just happens to be my twin sister, will talk about the benefits of group cruising and how you can save big. And stay with us until the end, because Janice has some amazing savings and benefits on a group cruise to Alaska next June. So, Carla and Janice, why don't more people know about group cruises?
Well, one reason I think they don't know is because if they call the cruise line directly, they'll be talking to an agent paid by the cruise line. It's extra work to set up a group cruise, even if it saves the client money. And they are just wanting to get the booking in there and not change it to a whole group. Okay, the cruise lines don't really promote groups that often. The travel agents can do that, and they can get you a lot of benefits doing that, whereas the agent that you get when you happen to call the number of the cruise line may not be inclined to go to that extra trouble.
Yes, that's a great answer, Janice. I would add that, the employee works for the cruise line. They don't work for you the way a travel agent does. Travel agent is going to know of all these other little tidbits to get you the absolute best rate. The cruise line employee, they will have a great rate for you. They will see your loyalty number and get you the perks that are there on the screen in front of them, but they're not going to do the digging like we can. I would also say that most of these groups, they are established usually at least a year in advance. That's one of the main things with groups, is it's not like a last minute type of thing. It's usually, a set client that knows that they're going to be on a very specific cruise in a matter of 1 to 2 years. And maybe they have, at least 2 or 3 cabins that full of people that they know want to be on this. And that's when we can start to create a group for them.
Absolutely. And they actually get a better rate when they book way in advance. That's always the case. So what are the other benefits?
So one of the main benefits of groups is the bigger your group, the more perks you get. And I mean, you could even just, depending on the cruise line, they will have a minimum number of cabins that you need to fulfill. You need to fill to get your perks. I believe with like Princess, which we're promoting our group with today, I believe you only need even as little as 4 cabins. And that could be 2 people in each cabin, which means you only need about 8 people to create a group. I think when some people think of a group, they're thinking, oh, I need like 50 plus people, or I'm not going to get this, this big discount. But it's not true. If you just inquire, depending on the cruise line you want, you can actually do it with, even just your immediate family. If I think about myself, that's just my family, my parents, and my 2 sisters. That's already a group.
What kind of perks do you see in groups typically?
In groups, very often you'll get onboard credit. For example, the group I'm doing, every cabin gets $50 onboard credit. However, depending on specials that are going on, if you're booked in my group at a certain time, you might even get more than that. There are also group discounts. The onboard credit is the one that people like the most. But one of the best perks they almost always in groups have a refundable deposit. So that's one of the best perks that I love, because if you want to go in the group, but it's a year away and you're not actually positive you can go, then you can book it knowing that you can go pretty far with the booking before you would have to pay it or drop it with no penalty.
So it sounds like one of the very few risk-free ways to book a cruise.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would say that's a big perk of it as well.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
We can often set up a group for just 1 or 2 people and add to it. And that way, they don't even have to be with you, but they're in your group, giving all of you better benefits.
That's a great point. So say you choose a very popular itinerary and you only have a few within your group, but we open it up for more people and we continue to add to it. And like you said, that doesn't mean that you're going to interact with them. It doesn't mean that your cabins are going to be next to each other or anything like that. It just means as we make the group bigger, your perks get bigger. You might get more onboard credit. You might get, a free bottle of champagne once you reach a certain threshold. I know, I believe it's with Princess as well, that if you reach a certain threshold, they even have like a conference room that they allow you to use, or, like a cocktail party, different things like that. I believe the way it works is depending on how many cabins you get a certain amount of points. And the points are where you get to choose. You get to pick and choose your different benefits that your specific group, would like more than something else.
And we've got that group going to Alaska on Princess out of Seattle next summer. Janice is hosting that. Janice, tell us about specifically that cruise, where it's going, when it is, and the group perks that you've set up already.
Okay, this is really exciting. We'll be going on the Royal Princess, which is the first ship in the Royal class. In fact, 4 days after we leave, 4 days before we leave, will actually be the 13th birthday of that ship. So it's not brand new, but it's a really, really nice ship, and it's not one of the older ones. It has 19 decks and about a little over 3,500 guests. So it's a mid-range, which means you're not super, super crowded like 7,000 guests, but there's a lot to do, and it's just a lot of fun. It's a beautiful ship. We are leaving on the 20th of June, and it will be a 7-day leaving from Seattle. Some of the places that we will be visiting, let me just look at the notes here: Juneau, Alaska, Skagway, Alaska, Glacier Bay. Now, Glacier Bay is someplace that a lot of cruise lines can't even go. They're very limited, and they only have 2 cruise ships a day in there. And that's one of the most iconic or sought after destinations in Alaska. In fact, in the world, it's one of the most sought after. Glacier Bay has 7 tidewater glaciers that you can see. And that's one reason everybody likes that. Then there's Ketchikan, and then there's an evening in Victoria, Canada. Okay, and the cool thing about Glacier Bay, you have park rangers come on board. They work with kids. They become junior rangers. They teach you all of this stuff. And another exciting thing about this one is we're going in June, and it's very common in June to see whales, bears, bald eagles, and on the glaciers, you often see seals, sea lions, and otters. So that's pretty cool. On this particular one, now prices with cruise lines vary from day to day. So there's going to be some variety depending on when you do it. I do want to point out, though, don't try to wait for a sale. You want to book it as soon as you can, because a good travel agent is going to check the prices regularly. I have been checking these prices on all of my bookings regularly. There's one couple that's going on this group cruise. I actually was able to save $600 by over what their regular price was by checking the prices and having it refared. So, by the way, if you call a travel agency and get one of their agents, they will book it and it will be done. They won't contact you and say, hey, this just went down $600. You want me to refare it? Okay. That's what you get with an individual travel agent. And other things about this cruise, the cabin prices I'm going to give you a ballpark figure, because it really not only depends on day to day, but it depends on which cabin you choose. Okay?
Yes.
So for a standard interior, you're looking at approximately $2,057, all the way up to an amazing mini suite when you're looking at maybe $3,439. These are per person. Remember, the deposit is completely refundable. Today, it is $250 for the whole cabin, and it is refundable. However, tomorrow it could be different. So the sooner you book it, the better. But remember that part is refundable, and the final payment is due on March 22nd of next year. So you do have plenty of time. And I believe Princess even has a payment plan that you can set up, like for automatic payments coming out of your bank account, which would make it real convenient for you to make payments. Some of the things.
I just agree. Yes, they do.
Some of the things that we will have on this, the exciting perks that we're going to have. We're going to have Princess Plus on this, which includes gratuities, better Wi-Fi than you can even buy if you go on there and buy their best Wi-Fi package. Better Wi-Fi comes with our package here. The beverage package, at least $50 onboard credit per cabin. Sometimes it could even be more, but it will be at least $50 per cabin. And there's some casual dining options that usually cost about $15, but you'll get like 4 of those for free. And free room service, which is something that most cruise lines are moving away from. With this plan, you'll have that. Now, you can choose if you want to just go on your own private cruise and get these perks. You don't even have to meet anybody else in the group. Or if you wanted to, you could just tell me and we'll have you sit with other people in the group and you'll get to know new friends. And of course, you can come and go as you please, but it's kind of hosted because I'm there if you need anything. And I'm there if you want to eat with us. But if you prefer not to, we can schedule you in separate dining. So you can even have a honeymoon and not even meet anybody on the group. So anyway, it's an amazing cruise. I can't wait. And I hope you will consider coming.
Yeah, it sounds like a great time. I'm actually considering to have lunch because, like you said, it's a peak time in Alaska. It's one of the times where almost everything that you'd like to see should, hopefully be available to see it as nature stuff.
I was hoping you would consider it.
Yeah, we talked about it a few months ago. So
for information or to join us on this cruise, all you need to do is email janice@travelwithbrigitte.com.
You've been listening to the Seize the Day podcast, powered by Travel with Brigitte. If you like what you heard, please like and subscribe. And as always, feel free to ask us anything in the comments section. We love to hear from you. Or email us at bookings@travelwithbrigitte.com. Till next time, seize the day.